our life, through our thoughts and new experiences, we can rewrite our past and redefine our future. The goal is to understand the thought triangle, the thing that's really keeping us trapped in our own mind and in our own belief that our potential is limited. And so the focus of these videos are here to help all of you believe in your potential. You know, this kind of an interesting journey for me because of some of the things that happened in my life. It took me almost 7 years to unlearn all the things that I learned over time and to become kind of safe in my own mind and body. And 7 years, that's a long time. It's funny, in 7 years, they say that every cell in our body is new. Our taste buds change, every part of our being is completely different. And it's interesting, for my little one, when she went through some similar just neurological and just anxiety related things that was very similar to just mine in regards to just how our internal body works. What took me 7 years, how to learn how to unlearn and learn how to regulate, within like 9 months to a year, we were able to break all the fear and instill the confidence and help her on the journey that she's on. So becoming an ace really means is choosing that you can choose the value in which you have for your potential. The importance of these videos is really, it's about anyone else on the other side. It's for you to realize that you're not stuck and that you're healing and you're changing, and the evolution of your life can begin at any time. Your journey might be longer, it might be more painful depending on how intense or how wild things were, but realistically, no matter who we are, I genuinely believe that we can heal and we can become our best optimal selves. It's just a matter of, when do you want to start your journey, and that journey is to heal. It's to become the part of you that feels that you should be, that you fully can embrace and don't know how to access. The reason why I picked ACE is because it talks about the 3 layers of our consciousness. There's the animalistic part that is more of our automatic behaviors. Then there is that reasoning part that we talked about in the middle brain that handles our emotions and our thoughts. Then there was the executive function, is where more of our feelings and come from. So the goal is, when something happens on the outside, our body automatically goes through this thought process of this cognitive triangle. It goes from behaviors, thoughts, feelings, and we spiral. And if one of them has either a wrong perception, doesn't feel safe, or is taking control because of some sort of trauma or because of some sort of neurobiological issue, it is going to hijack the rest of the process. And no matter what happens on the outside, even if the rest of you know you're safe and that you're okay, that part of you is the part that's going to start taking over. So the goal of these exercises is to understand where and who the culprit is in this process of our brain functions or thought process, or and it's to understand in that silence and understand the pattern, so that way then we can break the connection and regain some of the power that we have within ourselves. Believe in your potential. We talk about glass ceilings, and that's for our career, that's for our pay, that's for our status in life. But realistically, though someone at some point may have limited the value in which you believed that was your own, doesn't mean that they have the right to choose your value. That's one person's thought, that's one person's belief. But for you, it's about becoming yourself, and no one knows you better than you, you know? So how do we work together to help you believe in your own potential? That's really the goal of these videos, is to help others feel safe, feel like they're healing enough to be able to use that extra time and self-love to build the habits that will help them achieve their dreams. And it's as simple as that. How do we help you achieve? Thank you so much for the amazing feedback. So today will be a summary of what we kind of went over in the first video. This is really designed for you. It's here to help all of those who have been told that we need to be kings or queens our whole life, that we can change the value of our life, and we can become the ace that we really want to be, and we can define how we react and how we respond to our future. And so a lot of this is really here to help all of you. And for some of you, what you're trying to achieve might not need 10,000 hours. But for some of you that were like me, who faced a lot of shit, you know, realistically, what you're gonna have to do is make little decisions, and over time, it's really gonna compound and change your entire being. So for you to master healing and master self-love, hey everyone. So there's a concept from a book, Outliers, from Malcolm Gladwell. It talked about that you need 10,000 hours to become either an expert or a master of your own profession. Realistically, you know, when you look at something like that, 10,000 hours seems like, you know, a long time, you know, but let's look at the concept I talked about. In every 7 years, your whole cells, every part of you is different. So in 7 years, what I call maybe like a human life cycle, if you take 10,000 hours and you divide it over 7 years, and for every single day, that's really about maybe 3.6, we'll say 4 hours a day. But you know, we have short-term, long-term memory. So everything we do at nighttime, our brain revisits it and it files it into, was this important or was this not important? So realistically, we'll say half the time our brain does the work while we're sleeping. So we only need to be positive, optimistic, listen to ourselves, find our center, maybe about 1.5 to 2 hours a day. Some of us, that's impossible because of all the things we have going on in our life, all the responsibilities, all the things, all the assignments, all the pressure. So we're gonna start in maybe 20-minute bites, and then we're gonna compound. Over time, maybe 20 minutes a day, maybe it'll be 40 minutes. And the goal is to get up to about an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours. This time is meant to connect with yourself. That could be, you know, walking, meditation. That could be reducing your focus on outside stimulation that can allow you to ground yourself. Find an anchor, find who you are, listen to yourself, feel yourself, connect with yourself, mind, body, and soul type shit. And that's really what our focus is gonna be. I'm assuming most of you, there's something in your life where you feel stuck or you feel that you just can't move forward. You don't know what's going on. For me, I think being kind of perfectionistic and also knowing that it had to fit a perfect box, or because of all the pressure that was on me, it had to be, I only had one chance. But realistically, that's not true. You have many, many, many chances. The pursuit of perfection is really one of our biggest flaws, is because there is no perfect. And for you to achieve that like outlier perfect score, that 100%, the amount of energy it takes to go from average to, you know, maybe one standard deviation, two standard deviations, to that like third plus, I mean, it takes so much effort. And I think, you know, we're just so afraid that if we are ourselves and we're able to put out who we are, we're not going to be accepted. But realistically, no one's going to tell you no. I mean, people might, but at this point, you're an adult. And, you know, the only one who's really kind of telling you no and you can't at this point might be you. So the goal is to really understand and kind of help trick our own mind to allow ourselves to believe in our own potential. It's about learning how to unprogram certain aspects of our automatic biases, cognitive dissonance that we have that just breaks who we are or who we think we are. And this is about becoming and choosing your own path. So ACE is based on the animalistic, the cognitive, and also the executive function of our brain. So it's literally learning how to work with the three and understand the communication triangle between them and try to have either a breakthrough or not have a breakdown from the spiral that sometimes it feels like we're in when the three are just going. Becoming an ace is really understanding how to get inside of our minds and learn how to be okay in the silence. Learn how to be able to listen to our emotions, feel our feelings, but not give them control and power over the rest of our being. It's about making a conscious effort and working on being intentional with your thoughts and your actions. That's one thing I feel like I've never been able to be intentional. And, you know, I feel like I've either put other people's needs in front of my own, or I've tend to just think that my needs are less than what the world or anyone else needs. And I wonder if, you know, other people really feel that way. And for the longest time, I thought that I was the only one and it was my pain. I was so isolated, but the more I healed, the more I talked, and the more I got to know other people, it really helped me understand that this pain that we feel is universal. Something is activating either our thoughts, our feelings, or our behaviors. And what's happening is we're in an endless loop between those three parts of our brain. So again, so let me explain with myself. My anxiety wasn't always something that I felt in control of. And my anxiety was always about losing control and getting sick or having a panic attack. It was like Harry Potter. He was more afraid of fear and the Dementors than he was of Voldemort. And for myself, the fear of fear, once I let that come in, it learned how to completely overrule the rest of my being. There's a concept that I learned about the cognitive behavioral triangle, and it essentially talks about how there's an action that gets us triggered or activated, and there is a part of our brain that literally goes through. The goal is to figure out, you know, which one is the culprit, which one is the one that is getting so activated or so triggered that you're in a spiral and the three parts of your being cannot find regulation and cannot find a balance. So 10,000 hours might be a long time or a short time, but realistically, in the grand scheme of our life, it's gonna feel like a blink. That might be 1 year. I mean, if most people live up to 70, but say if you're healthy and you can actually pump out and live to 100, that's a goal I promised my daughter, which I may or may not be able to achieve. But realistically, it comes from making intentional behaviors and actions now and not responding to life. Not reacting to life, but responding. It's about becoming yourself. Becoming an ace really means is choosing that you can choose the value in which you have for your potential.